Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today I have got another SPFBO 9 review for you out of the final batch. So the book we're going to be talking about today is none other than Cold West by Clayton W. Snyder, and this is a fantasy western setting short adult book. And I will say this one isn't my favourite, as you might be able to tell from my review, but I'm still going to tell you why you should check it out, and if it sounds interesting, it's definitely something you should do. So this book follows one character, and our main character is called Will Cutter, and as we start this book, he is burying his wife who has just passed away with his two sons, and this is obviously quite a traumatic, sad period for him and his family, and an old friend from his past turns up offering him the chance to go and do a bounty hunt. And Will knows that he needs money because the farm that he has settled on no longer is making any money. He knows he needs money to put his boys through school, and he just knows this money would set him up for life, so he accepts. But of course, nothing is ever that simple. When he goes to do this bounty, collect the bounty, things spiral, and Will ends up being in one violent situation after another, and it just keeps going, and it just keeps getting worse. For a book that is not very long, there is a lot of action and a lot of death in this book, so bear that in mind. But I liked how we followed Will through all of these different scenarios, all of these traumatic events in his life. It's not even a very long life, but it is what it is. We do get some flashbacks as to what Will used to do many years ago when there was a war being fought in this world, and powers that he has that people don't think are natural, and that some people within the church do not think should be allowed to be free and walking around. I will say that if you are sensitive to death or violent scenes, maybe check out some trigger warnings before you go into this book. There is also child death, so loss of a child. In this book there are constantly murders and violent and fighting scenes, so bear that in mind as well. There's probably other triggers that I'm missing, but those are the main ones that come to mind. Overall, if you like books that have got a western feel, you will enjoy this book. If you like books full of action and violence and dark characters who have a really dark past that you don't necessarily get a whole lot of insight into, you will like this book. And if you like books that are short but continue to pack a punch, you will like this book. Me personally, I will say in all honesty, this is not my favourite one out of the SPFBO finalists that I have actually read so far. That's nothing really to do with this book as a whole. Personally, I found that 75% of this book was really good, had me intrigued, had me wanting to continue reading, and then the final 25% is just a little bit too chaotic for me, and yes, I know that's coming from me, but it does make sense. So towards the end of the book, Will is becoming more manic. Will has gone through a lot, he has lost a lot, and that is shown within his psyche as you are inside his head. I just didn't enjoy that manic place that he was in, and the chaoticness of the scenes. I didn't feel like it flowed particularly for me personally, but I can see how people would absolutely adore this book. Another thing I will say is that I do wish that this book was longer. There is so much more I want to experience within this world, not only Will's background and how he actually met his wife. We get little tidbits here and there about how him and his wife met and their relationship before she passed away, but it wasn't enough, in my opinion, to get that feeling of sadness whenever he spoke about her being gone, and how throughout the book Will talks about how Ginny changed him and how she made him a better person. And because you don't see that necessarily from who he was when he was fighting in a war to meeting Ginny to settling down, I don't feel like you fully grasp how much impact she had on his life. I do wish there was more context in this book as a whole. I'd love to know more about that war, about how the rebellion started. You get hints of it again throughout the book, and there's like little flashbacky bits throughout the whole thing, but I just want more. I want this to be a bigger book. I want the world to be bigger. I want the people to be bigger. I did enjoy that Will himself is definitely just a dark character trying to be a better man, and then there reaches a point within this book where he just goes, why do I bother? And kind of reverts back to who he was before he met his past wife. So I think that there is a lot of growth as well for this book if it was a whole novel in a longer format than the length that it was. Overall, it's a good book. It's enjoyable, it's dark, it's gritty, it will keep you possibly on the edge of your seat. It's not so much a mystery in that kind of thriller element, but the idea of what's Will going to do next, how's he going to get out of this next bind, definitely was intriguing for me. But otherwise, that is everything for this short, snappy review. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment down below whether you have read this book or whether you are interested to read this book. If you want to leave me any emojis, leave me any, I don't know if there are any like Western inspired emojis, like cowboy hats and that. Leave one of those below. I'd love to see it. This is a Western-ish fantasy book that has a sprinkling of fantasy and not enough fantasy for me personally, but I can understand the level of fantasy for this book. And if you want to see more of me, please consider subscribing down below and ring that notification bell to get notified every single time I upload new videos. I will be back with some more SPFBO 9 finalist reviews later on this month, so make sure you come back for those. Otherwise, I do weekly reading vlogs, I do, I don't even know, TBRs, wrap-ups, all those fun things. I talk about books constantly, funnily enough. So if you want to see any of that or stick around and get notified, make sure you click the link and ring the bell. All of my social links are also listed down below if you want to check any of those out and give me a follow or tweet or anything. Check them out. But otherwise, that is everything for today's video. I hope you're having an amazing day and I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.